Well, you're not gonna see Mike get hurt against Jake Paul. That's why they put on 16-ounce gloves and headgear. They didn't put that on to protect Mike. So I think the 16-ounce gloves and the headgear are not there to protect the legend Mike Tyson. They're there to protect the young kid who knows not what he does by stepping in the ring with Mike Tyson.
Boxing pros are terrified after seeing Mike Tyson's physique for the Jake Paul fight. However, British boxing veteran Ricky Hatton believes that this fight should not happen. Hatton believes that Tyson, who will be 58 by the time of the fight, is in remarkable shape for his age but should not be stepping into the ring. The ex-heavyweight champion must undergo brain and heart scans to be cleared for the match, which Hatton has labeled a total farce. Hatton told Lord Ping, "Someone needs to have a word and try and stop it from happening. I've always said that the influencer fighting game is entertainment, and I've never really had an issue with influencer boxing. UFC fighters fighting boxers, YouTubers fighting rappers, whatever it is. If people want to watch it, then that's fine. Let's call it what it is, entertainment." Hatton remarked that Mike was looking good for his 58 years, expressing that he himself wouldn't mind looking like Mike at that age and noting that Mike appeared explosive. Hatton emphasized that if Mike could land a hit on Jake Paul's chin, he would knock him out decisively. Hatton added, "Mike is looking good for his 58 years. I wouldn't mind looking like him at that age. He looks explosive. Trust me, if he can hit Jake Paul on the chin, he'll knock him into the middle of next week. I've seen Tyson on the pads, and he looks sharp, but he's 58. Can he maintain it? At his age, your body isn't conditioned to take the punishment that will be coming back to you." Moreover, Hatton commented that if Jake Paul were to knock out Mike, he would be knocking out one of his heroes, raising the question of how Paul could live with that on his conscience. He emphasized that regardless of the amount of money involved, it would be difficult for Paul to look at himself in the mirror. Hatton expressed, "I think it's completely crazy. It's a joke. I don't mind the exhibition fights when the matchups are even, but this one is on another level completely." Michael Bisping is convinced that the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson bout is an ill-conceived pairing. Despite the controversy that has enveloped the fight since its announcement, doubts about its validity intensified after Tyson recently encountered a health scare during a flight from Miami to Los Angeles. The emergency was ultimately diagnosed as an ulcer flare-up, and the 57-year-old has since confirmed he is in good health. Nevertheless, with the bout now officially recognized as a professional fight, many fans remain worried about the ex-boxer's well-being. In his most recent YouTube video, former UFC champion Michael Bisping addressed this very topic, saying, "This is just a great example of why a fight like this should not be going ahead. Mike Tyson is not the same person." Michael Bisping emphasized that his comments were not intended to criticize Mike Tyson. He was merely stating the reality that Tyson would struggle to maintain his stamina over the course of 8 rounds. On the other hand, Jake Paul, who is arguably at the peak of his physical condition, would have a significant energy advantage due to his youth. This disparity in age and energy is why Bisping thinks Iron Mike should avoid a fight with Jake Paul at this point in his life. But even with all of the controversy, Tyson still has a lot of faith in his skills. He even used X to provide fans with a health update. Mike Tyson has assured everyone that he's doing well after experiencing an ulcer flare-up. The 57-year-old boxing legend appears to be back in training for his upcoming bout with Jake Paul. Although Tyson remained silent about his health during the incident, he recently shared an update with fans on X saying, "Now feeling 100% even though I don't need to be to beat Jake Paul." Mike Tyson asserts that he doesn't need to be in peak condition to defeat Jake Paul. While this might have been accurate 10 or 20 years ago, the current situation is quite different. Observing his recent bout with Roy Jones Jr., it's clear that Tyson no longer possesses the speed and ferocity that once defined him. Conversely, Paul has been showing steady improvement with each fight. Therefore, it appears that this match will be a challenging one for Iron Mike. Meanwhile, in a twist of fate, Mike Tyson was handed a somber prophecy. Notwithstanding his relentless dedication to training, fate decreed he would face only 2 rounds against Jake Paul in their impending clash. Barry Hearn, the esteemed head of Matchroom Sport and patriarch of boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, voiced grave apprehension regarding Tyson's comeback, deeming it a perilous venture.
It's going to make a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
You can understand Netflix's approach.
And Tyson could win, by the way. I mean, he's still in pretty amazing shape.
Acknowledging his initial doubts, Hearn concedes to the undeniable allure of the lucrative prize, awaiting the contenders in the ring, while also grasping the strategic rationale driving Netflix's involvement. He underscores the immense pressure on Tyson, intimating that any prolonged bout could drastically erode Tyson's odds of success.
You can understand Netflix's approach.
And Tyson could win, by the way. I mean, he's still in pretty amazing shape. He's still got a big punch.
If he doesn't know, but if he doesn't win quickly, he can't win because, you know, I don't believe the other guy's much of a fighter, but he's fit and he trains and he's young. 2 rounds, no matter when you're 59 years old, 2 rounds max, Tyson's going to be blowing out of his backside if he's still, you know, because it's quite dangerous. You know, boxing at that level.
Tyson promptly dismissed rumors implying that both he and Paul would wear headgear and utilize 18-ounce gloves. Previously, Eddie had downplayed Paul's boxing skills, labeling him as nothing more than ordinary. He echoed similar sentiments to those voiced by others regarding the imminent showdown.
I think that we live in a crazy world, don't we? Where, you know, that younger generation is built off views, built off narrative, built off controversy, and as a hardcore fight fan, someone that's been around boxing since I was 9 years old, I find it disgusting that a 58-year-old man
59, yeah.
who was my hero growing up.
Eddie pointed out that, from a financial standpoint, given the hefty sums Tyson had earned over his career, it made sense for him to face off against a 25-year-old with less skill. He noted that his candid criticism of the event didn't sit well with the Netflix crew. While acknowledging its potential for commercial success and viewership, he made it clear that he didn't endorse the match personally.
From a financial point of view, with the amount of money that man was paid, or partially paid, during his career, you know, to get in the ring with a 25-year-old guy who can't really fight. But for me, I understand it, you know, and you know, speaking to the Netflix guys the other day, I don't think they like my criticism of the event. I'm never gonna lie to you. I'm never gonna sugarcoat it. I'm just gonna give you my honest opinion, which is it will sell, people will watch, it will be a big event, and I don't like it.
The excitement surrounding this bout has even caught the attention of Curtis Blaydes, who is preparing for a pivotal bout against interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall at UFC 304. Despite his own impending challenge, Blaydes shared his thoughts on the highly anticipated match between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. During a recent interview, he voiced his disapproval, citing concerns over Mike Tyson's advanced age. MMA aficionados and enthusiasts found themselves puzzled, pondering how a man in his late 50s could possibly contend with a boxer in his prime 30s. This stirred up discussions questioning the authenticity of such a match. Blaydes tackled these uncertainties head-on. When asked about his stance on the fight and whether he intended to tune in, Blaydes offered his crucial insights. Not wasting any time, Curtis Blaydes gave his blunt answer. Blaydes said, "I will not be watching. I think it's a joke fight." You could tell just by how they've been interacting with each other at the press conference. Blaydes went on to express his displeasure with the fight, claiming that Tyson and Paul's huge age difference made it unfair. Curtis Blaydes went even further, delving into the realm of inquiry regarding Mike Tyson's age and his demeanor toward opponents. Blaydes contends that Tyson's approach may have shifted from what it once was prior to his retirement in 2005. He added, "That's not the Mike Tyson who's coming to rip your head off. That's the Iron Mike, and it's just not the same sort of thing." Mike Tyson and Jake Paul have been no strangers to criticism, which has dogged their upcoming fight since it was first announced. For months now, the bout has been under scrutiny, drawing ire from various quarters. MMA figures such as Colby Covington and Sean Strickland have been vocal in their skepticism, alleging the fight's legitimacy or taking aim at Jake Paul for squaring off against the significantly older Mike Tyson. Jake Paul's meteoric ascent in the boxing sphere has consistently attracted scrutiny. His matches against aging MMA icons like Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren have commanded considerable spotlight, yet concurrently, they have ignited allegations of cherry-picking opponents who are either past their prime or on the brink of retirement. Colby Covington has raised concerns about the authenticity of the fight by accusing Jake Paul's fight of being rigged in an interview with TwinsPod. He stated, "It's a fake fight. It's a fixed fight for sure. Most of Jake's fights are all fixed." Colby Covington didn't hold back in his criticism of the bout, denouncing it as nothing more than a spectacle driven solely by financial gain. According to him, it's merely a gimmick to boost ticket sales. Covington also conveyed empathy for Iron Mike, feeling that Tyson has surpassed his peak and deserves to relish retirement akin to sporting icons such as Tom Brady and Michael Jordan. In a surprising move, legendary UFC fighter Chael Sonnen has stated that Jake Paul had considered him to be Mike Tyson's successor. Sonnen, who retired from fighting 5 years ago, tweeted after Tyson's health scare, "I guess it was wise of Jake Paul to write me into the contract as Tyson's backup, wasn't it? If Jake Paul realizes he might be fighting me in a month, he may be the one having a heart attack." Moreover, Ryan Garcia, the rising icon in boxing, has boldly thrown his hat into the ring as a potential substitute for Tyson should circumstances necessitate it. Disregarding skepticism surrounding Tyson's peak, Paul Paul staunchly maintains that the ex-undisputed heavyweight champion remains his most formidable adversary to date. Fans and fellow fighters alike have been adamant in their warnings to Tyson, urging him to reconsider stepping into the ring at the age of 58 for his comeback fight. Nathan Howarth, the development and operations director at the Concussion Legacy Foundation UK, voices concerns about the potential risks Tyson faces, emphasizing the looming threat of a serious brain injury. He said, "Boxing has an inherent risk of concussion, and then there's an increased risk of traumatic brain injury we have seen, like bleeds on the brain. I'm not saying there is any evidence that as an older fighter, Mike would be at risk of that. However, we do know the impacts of subclinical concussions." Meanwhile, Roy Jones Jr. just foresaw Mike Tyson and Jake Paul's impending bout, and it seems he has a harsh message for Paul. Roy Jones is adamant that Paul will have a difficult evening while facing Tyson. Jones Jr., the last person to fight the legendary boxer in the ring, claims Paul is the one who needs to be protected. RJ joined Troy Deeney and Darren Bent on TalkSport Drive.
You don't worry about Mike getting hurt at all. When I was in the ring with Mike, we weren't worried about Mike getting hurt. We were worried about me getting hurt. I'm a small guy for his weight class. So yeah, we don't want to see legends get hurt. I didn't want to get hurt, but I would refuse to turn down the opportunity to share a ring with Mike Tyson. It's just something I was not going to do.
Roy Jones Jr. expressed a valid apprehension about the potential clash of egos when two seasoned legends are pitted against each other, cautioning that such encounters could lead to unintended harm. Yet, in the intriguing scenario of Jake Paul squaring off against the formidable Mike Tyson, Jones Jr. conveyed his belief that Paul's skill level falls short of posing any significant threat to Tyson.
You know, you do have to worry about that in a sense. If you put two legends in the ring together, two older legends, sometimes the egos come up and they will try to hurt one another. But in this Jake Paul situation, I don't think Jake Paul is good enough to hurt Mike. He may be powerful enough if they had on 8-ounce gloves or 10-ounce gloves.
He admitted that while Jake Paul may wield considerable power with 10-ounce gloves, the playing field could level if both were outfitted in such gear, allowing Mike Tyson a fair chance to cause harm. Jones Jr. speculated that Tyson would probably deliver more punishment to Jake Paul than vice versa. Moreover, Jones Jr. pointed out that the headgear and 16-ounce gloves aren't primarily for shielding the legendary Mike Tyson. Rather, they serve to safeguard the inexperienced youth who may underestimate the perils of facing off against Tyson.
He may be powerful enough if they had on 8-ounce gloves or 10-ounce gloves, but also if they had on 10-ounce gloves, Mike might hurt him. I think my chance would be to bet that Mike would hurt him more so than he would hurt Mike.
There was some buzz circulating online about the upcoming fight, possibly including 16-ounce gloves and headgear. But renowned MMA journalist Ariel Helwani just spilled the beans, revealing that the match will mirror Tyson's previous bout with Jones Jr. in 2020. On that occasion, they went glove to glove without head protection, sporting 12-ounce gloves. Despite the lack of headgear, Jones Jr. is confident Tyson won't sustain any injuries in their next showdown.
Words whatsoever. Like I said, the headgear, them 16-ounce gloves, that's not to protect Mike Tyson. That's to protect Jake Paul. Understand that.
Additionally, Roy Jones Jr. expresses his belief that squaring off against the formidable Iron Mike could present a formidable challenge for Paul. Reflecting on his own encounter with Tyson, Jones Jr. offers a cautionary note to Jake Paul. If he hits anybody square on the chin, it's going to be problematic. I don't care who it is. If it's a fight, it's very interesting how it may turn out. He admitted that Paul has improved with each fight, but Mike Tyson, even at 58 or however old he is still Mike Tyson. When I boxed him, he still punched like Mike Tyson. Jones also warned if Mike comes out and does what Mike normally does, then it's going to be a tough situation for Jake. Jones openly confessed his admiration for Paul, commending him as a commendable individual flourishing in his boxing pursuits. He saw the scenario as a prime promotional prospect benefiting both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Jones said, "I like Jake Paul, he's a good guy, and he's doing good with his boxing stuff. I think it's a good promotional situation for him and Mike. They should get really good numbers, especially having upgraded to a real fight." Finally, he considered that there is still hope for Paul. If Jake can stay away from him for 4 or 5 rounds, then Jake has a chance. But he's going to have to do a lot of maneuvering to stay away from him. Meanwhile, Jake Paul recently said that he might have taken on more than he could handle during a podcast session. He said, "This is definitely the toughest, most savage, lethal opponent regardless of age because power is the last thing to go." In the meantime, Roy Jones Jr.'s viewpoint sheds light on a generational conflict that he believes to be absolutely stunning. Using his extensive knowledge, knowledge, Roy Jones Jr. quickly offered his viewpoint during an insightful discussion on Fox News. He began, "Well, it was an experience," setting the stage for his comments. He portrayed Tyson as a phenomenon who was unaffected by time. Mike Tyson is still one of the most devastating people on the planet, Jones emphasized. His admiration for Tyson's enduring prowess was clear, as he said, "He's still the person that everything will stop to see what he does." While praising Jake Paul's accomplishments, he also emphasized the enormous task that still lay ahead. "So for me, it's going to be tough for Jake to hit him, but it's going to be very difficult to put a glove on Mike Tyson's chin," Jones admitted, while underlining the peril Jake Paul faces. He added, "And if Mike Tyson hits your chin first, it still spells trouble." The second interviewer shifted the focus to concerns beyond the sport. "Are you worried for Jake Paul's safety in this fight?" they asked, probing the ethical considerations of such a mismatch. Roy Jones Jr. responded in a thoughtful and real way. "His safety concerns me," he said, saying that headgear and other safety measures reduce dangers. His perspective went beyond the fight's immediate physical impact and included its wider implications. He added, "Shout out to Jake too, though, because Jake made this thing happen. This is something that the world will love to see because it makes two worlds come together. When you see guys like this get their blessing in life or gift in life, that's a beautiful thing." The former champion of the light heavyweight division gracefully intertwined his contemplations with a philosophical essence, weaving connections between the match and the mysterious yet captivating journey of life. He said, "Look where Mike's come from, and look where Mike's today, headlining still at 58 years old. Look what Jake came from, and look where Jake is today." He then invoked Conor McGregor's rags to riches story as a beacon of hope. Jones said, "These stories are absolutely marvelous. These stories continue to show us that God has to exist. Conor McGregor, one of my favorite people, came from a plumber to see where he is today." Ignoring every critique hurled his way, Mike Tyson stands unwavering as he prepares for his imminent clash with Jake Paul in the boxing ring. Despite a chorus of doubts from pundits and experienced athletes about Tyson's decision to face off against an opponent 30 years his junior, the boxing legend remains resolute. With unshakable confidence, Tyson boldly proclaims that his magnetism draws a broader audience than most of today's boxers combined. Tyson said in an interview with Reuters, "I'm 58 and what? I'm getting billions of views from just talking to somebody from fighting. Everybody, even most of the athletes, they're jealous. That's whack. He's 58, he's 57. I say in your prime, you couldn't draw a million people, man. What are you talking about? You couldn't sell out an arena. Who, at 58, could sell out an 80,000-seat arena?" Tyson boldly stated that envy is a common trait among many, especially athletes, in the face of his achievements. Brushing off age-related critiques, he retorted that those who speak ill of him couldn't draw a crowd or fill an arena even in their peak years. Tyson added, "Why do you think he wants to fight me and not anybody else? Everybody wants to fight him. All the boxers want to fight him. But if he fights them, the only people that will come are the people that like him. The other guys, their parents might not even come to watch them. That's just keeping it real. They're too boring for their children to watch. It's like watching grass grow." Furthermore, Mike Tyson has definitely put an end to any rumors circulating about his forthcoming fight. While there were some whispers initially indicating that both boxers would wear headgear, Tyson has vehemently refuted these notions, dispelling any uncertainties before the highly awaited confrontation.
Been a lot of rumors out there about the fight that maybe you're going to have 18-ounce gloves, you're going to be wearing headgear. Any truth to any of that?
No, not true at all. Not true. Not true. No true. Listen, this is called an exhibition. But if you look up exhibition, you will not see any of the laws that we're fighting under. This is a fight.
As the highly anticipated match draws near, Tyson's training videos have ignited a frenzy across social media platforms. Despite his 57 years, Tyson exhibits astonishing agility and impressive strength, leaving spectators spellbound. Furthermore, during a recent interview with Fox News, the iconic boxer shared his motivations for returning to the ring, shedding light on his decision.
Whatever I'm afraid to do, I do it. And that's how it is. I was afraid for the Roy fight. I was scared to fight again. I was 100 pounds overweight. I was however old, 54, 53. And I said, let's do it. Anything I'm afraid of, I confront it. And that's my personality. Like right now, I'm scared to death. But as the fight gets closer, the less nervous I become because it's reality. And in reality, I'm invincible.
Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.